Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spellbound, A Darker Shade of Black. Get your copy today at your favorite online bookseller. Over 34 gang members who were believed to be drill rappers were arrested in the Bronx in a raid that stemmed from an investigation of these gangs that took 2 years to complete.
Dozens of suspected gang members are off the streets in the Bronx, arrested in connection to several shootings.
Yeah, many of the cases were caught on camera, and oftentimes the victims were innocent bystanders, among them a 73-year-old woman and a 15-year-old girl.
Investigators say they continuously put the lives of innocent people at risk, opening fire on busy streets and sending people nearby running for cover. Here's Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles.
They fired guns again and again, often in broad daylight on crowded streets.
These clips of shootings that have taken place in the Bronx is what investigators call a kill-on-sight atmosphere created by gang culture.
You see citizens of the Bronx running. Nobody should have to live like this.
Friday afternoon, the Bronx District Attorney and the NYPD announcing 2 large gang takedowns. 20 people arrested in one case, 15 people in the other. More than 260 indictments combined for charges that include conspiracy, attempted murder, robbery, and assault.
You see 15 guns in front of you. These are not guns that were purchased by undercover officer. These were guns that we have seized.
Those that woke up every single day with one mission, to gain clout for the gang and to ignite violence. How to shoot ops for the gang.
In the Slattery case, investigators say the charges include a violent mugging spree in August 2022. Gang members attacking off-duty NYPD officer Muhammad Chowdhury while jogging in Castle Hill.
Who was left unconscious with a fractured skull and bleeding from his brain. He will never fully recover.
In the Muddy Waters case, this chart shows the link between one gun that was used by 9 different gang members in 5 separate shootings.
They used the Gun Hill houses as their home base to plan and meet prior to violent acts. Compounding the violence was the fact that this gang did not have a sole rival.
The Bronx DA's office and the NYPD say they hope these arrests are a deterrent to other teens and say there are more gang takedowns to come. In the Melrose section of the Bronx, Darla Miles, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Now, in this series of alleged disturbing, violent incidents, a pair of gangs, the Slattery gang and the 1300 gang, waged war with each other as they looked to build up their reputations on social media as drill rappers, as they terrorized the Bronx and terrorized neighborhoods like Fordham Heights, Kingsbridge, Highbridge, and Morris Heights, not to mention neighborhoods like Gun Hill and Castle Hill. And as they looked to wage their campaign of terror to gain clout on social media as drill rappers, everything basically came to a head when they attacked an off-duty NYPD officer, Muhammad Chowdhury, who was jogging in his Castle Hill neighborhood in 2022, and that's what basically kicked off this investigation into these 2 gangs, and this investigation into these 2 gangs that took over 2 years basically led to the police creating a mountain of evidence that led to a pre-dawn raid that led to the arrest of 20 people in the Slattery gang, which operated near Slattery Playground on East 183rd Street, and participated in allegedly 20 shootings, and led to the arrest of 14 gang members as related to an operation called Operation Muddy Waters, which led to the arrest of the 1300 gang, which held territory in the Gun Hill houses and was connected to 6 shootings. Now, as they did their investigation into Muddy Waters, they found that 9 shootings had taken place with the exact same gun passed on from gang member to gang member, and as they did their investigation, they eventually led to the arrest of 34 individuals who said that they were drill rappers and even led to the arrest of a pregnant teenage girl. Now, the NYPD sees these arrests as an isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of the behavior of all 34 of these individuals who said that they were drill rappers, they basically fit the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis, and it also fits the pattern and profile for feminist indoctrinated women that I talk about in my book, The Woman Crisis. And it's clear to me that all of these gang members basically got put into a rose-colored reality by their parents and grandparents who grew up watching gangsta rap, and as they entered into that rose-colored reality, all of these individuals started to believe all of the nonsense that they heard in many of the gangsta rap videos over the last 35 years. Now, as someone who has studied the entertainment industry ever since he was a teenager back in the late 1980s, when gangsta rap came out with NWA straight out of Compton, I understood that many of these gangsta rappers are not real gangsters at all. No, that's the lesson that many young kids who grew up in neighborhoods like the South Bronx don't really get, because their parents aren't at home to teach them the difference between fantasy and reality. And when it comes to the entertainment industry, the line is extremely blurred as related to the fantasy and reality of gangster rappers, while many of these rappers will sit there and say that their life is quote-unquote real. When it comes to the entertainment they participate in, there's nothing real about it at all. No, when it comes to many gangster rappers are not real gangsters. No, they are artificially manufactured by people in Madison Avenue in Hollywood, and these white people in Madison Avenue in Hollywood basically craft and manufacture an image for that gangster rapper so that they can go out here and sell their songs, and sell their songs to mostly young black kids and even some white kids to show how bad these guys are in the streets. But that image is all fake, and it's all fake because the white guys in the studio basically want that image there to do two things. One, again, go out here and sell this music as hardcore and street to young black kids, and also sell it to young white and non-black kids as these guys being so-called from the streets. And two, they want to go out here and manufacture an image and a stereotype of black life that they feel comfortable with in their smooth world. This is what they want to see black people be, and sadly, because there's no parents in the home to sit down and talk to their kids and teach them about the difference between fantasy and reality, many young kids go out here and grow up generation after generation believing that these gangster rappers are actually real gangsters. No, they're not real gangsters at all. No, these A&R white studio guys and white studio executives and advertisers create an image around that black rapper to be their definition of black, and sadly, many spellbound young black people from my generation, Generation X and onward, have believed that these stories and images of these rappers are real, when in actuality, these stories are completely made up, and made up, again, just to sell records and sell an image to people. And what's really sad is that we've got a lot of young people buying into these images as we've gone from devolving from gangster rap to this drill and trap house rap. And as they've gone out here and devolved, we've gone from guys pretending to talk about being in the streets to guys going out here and actually trying to live this life of selling drugs, committing murders, and having fights with each other to gain a brand and a reputation on social media, not understanding that the whole foundations of those stories are completely fake and made up. all completely fake and made up, but then you have individuals out here trying to live this real life, and trying to live this real life, not understanding this is what the white supremacist wants for many black people and those young people who buy into this propaganda. They want you to buy into this propaganda because what the white supremacist really wants to do is eliminate his competition in colleges and universities and eliminate his competition in places like the job market. And unfortunately, what happens to a lot of young black and non-black kids is that they buy into the narratives presented in these gangster rap videos. And what's sadly happened is that this is a culture that has been passed on from generation to generation. And as this culture has been passed on from generation to generation, you've got lots of young black kids buying into these narratives, believing that they need to go out here and be these kinds of drill rappers and trap house rappers in an effort to not, again, do like many of the drug dealers during the crack epidemic did, where they fought over turf that they didn't own in order to sell poison to their own people. No, what these individuals want to do is they think that they can go out here and create a covert contract with Hollywood where they will be able to build up their reputation and build up their brand and eventually wind up getting some sort of record deal, the way late rappers like Tupac and Biggie Smalls wound up getting, and the way many other guys became moguls like Dr. Dre and Ice Cube. But what these individuals don't understand is that Hollywood doesn't have any sort of interest in looking to elevate someone who is out here committing actual crimes, because, again, the image of a rapper is manufactured by a record label and manufactured by white guys on a record label to sell records, and manufactured to make it look like a guy is tough, but a guy is not tough at all. No, he basically is out here pretending to be whatever the A&R guys tell him to be, and that can be shown when you see many of these same so-called hardcore gangster rappers basically out here putting on dresses and emasculating themselves. They are basically shills doing the work of the people in Hollywood and have compromised themselves, but you can't explain this to these young children who have grown up, sat in front of these toxic music videos, sat in front of these toxic gangster movies, sitting and imbibing a lot of the so-called gangster culture, never understanding that all of that culture basically was made up by a white person in Hollywood and Madison Avenue, made up to, again, do something to destroy the lives of black people. Again, what they want to do with this whole thing is, one, eliminate their competition as related to colleges and universities and academic achievement, and also eliminate their competition in the job market, because as an individual goes himself going out here and running these streets and having these petty beefs with each other as related to these whole gang beefs, what they're doing is basically, again, eliminating themselves from being able to compete in the job market, because once you get a felony conviction on your record, you basically are unemployable at that point. And when you go out here and get into beefs with each other and kill other people, you basically are doing the white supremacist job of eliminating black people as related to surviving in the world. So the whole trap house and gangster and drill rap music is designed to basically do the white supremacist job. So they no longer need Ku Klux Klansmen to terrorize black neighborhoods. No, what they do is program people to go out here and do the dirty work of the white supremacists. And what's sad is that they're doing the dirty work of the white supremacists for less than what Ice Cube or Dr. Dre got. They got money for selling out their community. No, what these guys are doing it for is likes and shares on social media, looking to gain clout again in this covert contract, looking to gain clout in a covert contract where they hope Hollywood will come to them and they will get some sort of deal, but the only deal that they're going to get is the raw deal that white supremacy wants to give black people in looking to put them in two places. One is the penitentiary and the other is a grave. Those are the two places that the white supremacists in the entertainment industry want to put black people in. And what's sad is that these young people were basically programmed from generation to generation to think that this would be a way to, again, threaten these rival groups and release these drill rap videos that they thought would lead to them elevating their social status and their clout, but that didn't really elevate their social status at all. No, what happened here is that you had young boys and young girls basically because they didn't understand their intangibles of manhood and womanhood, like their dignity, their self-respect, their self-worth, and most importantly, their freedom, sacrificing those intangibles to try to gain a like on social media. And as they looked to gain those likes on social media, they participated in terrorizing their neighborhood, shooting at each other in an effort to try to get their rep up, looking to get their rep up, buying into the ideas that their grandparents possibly told them about the crack epidemic, talking about how a lot of guys look to build their reps on the streets by shooting at each other. These are the old dysfunctional stories told by old dysfunctional black folks who grew up in that life during the crack epidemic, told these kids, and these kids bought into these lies thinking that this would elevate their social status on social media as they made their drill rap videos on YouTube, made them believe that they could brag about these things, not understanding what they were doing in actuality was basically creating a trail of evidence that would lead straight to them, a trail of evidence where these people basically admitted to committing crimes. Moreover, there was a security camera videos basically showing a lot of these individuals participating in these shootings and these muggings, creating an irrefutable evidence trail that led to the over 100 count indictment against all 34 of these individuals, and led to this indictment that basically is an open and shut case for the Bronx prosecutor and the Bronx DA to basically convict all these individuals. If they don't go soft and play the bail reform game, all of these individuals are going to go from looking to participate in drill rap videos and as related to YouTube to basically getting drilled by Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles inside of the penitentiary. And as they're in the penitentiary, they're going to be singing a different tune as Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles. And in the case of the ladies, Big Bertha and Betty get a hold of them and trade them for Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light lemonade, packets of Crystal Light tea, off-brand lemonade, off-brand lemon lime drink, off-brand orange drink, off-brand grape drink, off-brand fruit punch, off-brand apple juice, off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand lemon cookies, off-brand duplex cookies, off-brand vanilla wafers, off-brand ginger snaps, hot and sour pickles, Hunt snack pack puddings, quarts of milk, picked beef, chicken, tuna. They're going to be traded for all of the commissary as Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles go out here and whip out the summer sausage and stuff them with sausages in the front side and the back side. And Mr. Sprinkles comes in after he's finished filling them up with sausage and spraying them with his special sauce. And after he finishes spraying them with the special sauce in the front side and the back side, go and call them, all the guys of Cell Block of 7D, to check out dude's backside looking like the inside of a Louisiana crunch cake. And it's only when these individuals wind up in the penitentiary and find out how rough it is in there that they'll realize all the stuff that they were rapping about basically was a bunch of BS, because inside of this penitentiary, life is completely different. This is what Kool G Rap put in his video, Road to the Riches, where he said that rules are different and so is life. You got to think with a shank and talk with a knife, because G-Rap basically knew what life was inside of the penitentiary, and he knew, and he put it in his rhymes to try to deter people in the song Road to the Riches. But sadly, many young black kids, they get on the road to the riches because their parents are spellbound, looking to fit into the gangsta box that's acceptable to white people. And as they look to fit into the gangsta box that's acceptable to white people, over 30 years later, they basically have gone from going out here and listening to this hardcore rap that basically was meant to program the idea of stereotypes that the white supremacists felt comfortable about, to going out and basically, participating in the stereotypes that the white supremacists wants black people to see. And as they do this, they look to be unofficial enforcers, similar to overseers over the black community. And as they look to become these overseers, they ironically wind up putting themselves on a road to becoming slaves in the system of white supremacy, because instead of going on to being these celebrities that they see and look up to, what they do is eventually wind up in the penitentiary, where they don't have a name, because you become a number. And as you become a number, you become state property that winds up working again for less than 10 cents an hour, working for 10 cents an hour inside of a penitentiary, basically participating in slave labor. And this is what many young black kids get programmed to believe as related to listening to this drill rap music and this gangster rap music. They get put on a prison pipeline with this programming, and this prison pipeline basically makes them sacrifice the greatest intangible that they have, which is their freedom. Because there are some individuals who are so delusional that what they do is believe that they're going to get some street cred and build up their rep with a felony conviction. But no, you're not going to build up any sort of street cred. No, you lost your freedom. And this is what flies over the heads of many of these young people who listen to the drill rap music. They don't see what they're sacrificing to get this quest for fame, which is absolutely asinine, because there is no road to fame if you're putting videos on YouTube. No, there's no road to fame, because if you're going out here confessing to crimes, you're basically creating evidence against yourself, and you're not building anything at all. And all you're doing is sacrificing the most important intangible, that is your freedom. Sacrificing your freedom, all to gain 15 seconds of clout, even less than the 15 minutes of fame that Andy Warhol talked about. Because Andy Warhol, a long time ago, the late artist Andy Warhol, said people will do things to get that 15 minutes of fame, but that 15 minutes turns into 15 seconds when you go out here and buy into the dysfunctional philosophies of drill rap, which came out of gangster rap. And as you buy into that, it basically puts you on a road where you wind up, again, I'll repeat it once more, lose your freedom, lose the most important thing, because freedom is more important than getting clout as related to the streets or getting likes on social media, because likes on social media are fleeting. They're very fleeting. They're here for a minute and the next they're gone. But the whole thing is you wind up losing one thing that's more important, which is with freedom, your time, because time is something you can't get back. And again, when you're a teenager, you think you have all the time in the world, but a lot of times they don't really appreciate time until you get about my age and realize how precious time is and why you can't waste time. And that's something many of these young people weren't thinking about as they were looking to form these gangs, and looking to gain clout on social media as they put people's lives in jeopardy so that they could go out here and gain Instagram likes and other likes on YouTube. I mean, that's really sad, again, that people really couldn't think about something positive to do. It couldn't think of anything positive to do with their lives, and instead of that, thinking of something positive to do, what they've done is go from being on a road to growing up to becoming young men and women, to growing up to becoming young men and women who will wind up in crisis when they wind up possibly in this penitentiary for the rest of their lives. Now, if you want to learn how to avoid getting off the road of dysfunction that leads to a person basically destroying their life, you can pick up my books, The Man Crisis, The Woman Crisis, and Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. And you can also find those books at other online booksellers like Draft Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to learn more about how many people are deceived online to create these fake images of themselves, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping in Cyberspace, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find Stop Simping in Cyberspace at other online booksellers like Draft Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you'd like to see me make more videos about the man crisis and these children of the corn that are growing up like stalks in this season of the simp, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females like Instagram models and e-girls in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Get your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace in paperback and Kindle today. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.